Yo, what's up, people? Hello. Hope you're all well. Yeah, how are we all doing? Hope you're all well. So, yeah, how's your weekend been, everybody? Just been at gym today, and yeah, I was absolutely just like shattered after that. I had a bit of a rest, but yeah, I'm feeling alright now. Kind of went into more like a meditation for a while, just kind of switch off, just kind of zone out really, and then yeah, I feel like that's best for me. Like I would just kind of after a workout, hard workout, just kind of zone out for a bit. Just yeah. Everyone okay? Hope you've all had a good day today. Welcome in here. So yeah, I did like full body workout pretty much, so pretty intense. I got a new short out, so yeah, whenever you get a chance, go and have a look at that. But yeah, we're back, and let's see how this goes, see who we're getting here, and thank you for the like. Nice one. So I think what I'm going to do going forward with the videos and stuff is you can actually tag other creators. So I just tried that out. Try tagging a few creators. Might be a way to sort of network and build your channel. So yeah, that could be something I can do. Hello, Andrea. Maybe that's something you can try actually. Hello, Agrai. Okay. Thank you. Day 18. Oh really? You've been doing this for 18 days now. How was karaoke? It was alright, thanks. Yeah, went on for quite a while actually. Yeah. Did like a mix of different songs really. Yeah. Anyway, what have you been up to anyway? I saw you went live earlier. There's like so much snow outside, eh? Yeah, a lot of stuff really, just kind of, yeah, it was a mix of stuff, just kind of different eras of their stuff. It was quite a few songs I did, but yeah, it's yeah, you were talking about the cross country skiing, eh? Well, they have this machine at the gym that kind of mimics that. It's called ski erg, like Nordic skiing. It's yeah. Hello, not Mr. Minty One. How you doing? Sin Karate says Jesus died for no reason. What do you mean Jesus died for no reason? What do you mean? Anyway, make sure you subscribe if you're new here. That would be really appreciated. I don't know how it went to 2 likes and then 1. Did someone just take their like away, or what? Can you shout me out? My friends don't like me anymore. How come? Why don't your friends like you anymore? Okay. Hello, Pippo. Oh, congratulations. Hello, sarcastic scoundrel. Anyway, hello, Setia Berry. Hello, Zetos. Hello, Turbo. Are you autistic? Oh yeah, I'm on the spectrum as well, and you know, there's nothing to be ashamed of, but just you gotta find people who accept you for who you are, is what I'd say. There might be groups that you can find, but it's up to you, really. But yeah, so I haven't been cross-country skiing in ages, but we have an amazing trail here, so I want to try it perhaps next weekend. Oh yeah. Yeah, I have the ski erg machine at the gym. So you're doing like this kind of stuff with it, and you're kind of, you're like, well, it's pretty much like a full body workout. It's, you're using a lot of different muscles, and it's quite an intense cardio workout, kind of like rowing. It's a good workout, incorporating different muscles, and it's just fun. It's a fun one. Medicine ball slam's a good one as well. If you ever tried that, that's a good workout as well. It's a good, yeah. Hello, Phil Daniels. Hello, Yummers. Yeah, back to normal setup. I couldn't be bothered, whatever. It's just, hello, Mr. Borat. How you doing? White Rabbit, I'm from the UK. Where are you from? Hello, Pebble Films. Mustafa, how you doing? I hope you're all well. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Hello, Falcon. How you doing? Welcome in here. Is that you, Falcon, from Yogis? Yeah. I remember you were saying that I was being negative or something, and I was a bit negative back then, but yeah, trying to work on that really, and trying to just kind of be a bit more positive really, but yeah. What's that? People are being mean, I think. Oh yeah. Yeah, people do that a lot. Hello, Harshad. Excited for the cricket world. Alright, okay, I don't watch cricket, so hello, Journey Lambert, how you doing? White Rabbit says I'm from Belgium, but Tommy Shelby is my brother. Is that for real? Tommy Shelby. Hang on, who's that again? Okay. Falcon says, I'm sorry for being rude, just be yourself. Yeah. I get what you were saying. Sometimes I could be, hello, Journey. Sometimes I could come across a bit, I don't know, it's just I can be quite a brutally honest person at times, but then it's like, the thing is, right, you gotta think, like, maybe that, it's kind of, like self-fulfilling prophecies where the more you focus on negativity, then the more negativity prevails, sort of thing. So we have to be careful what we're, focusing on. So I get what you're saying, because, not official bozo. I don't know. I don't really rate people like that. I don't know. Anyway, but, it's just, if we keep focusing on all the drama and whatever bullshit that's in the world, then we end up kind of, I don't know, it's like, unless we're trying to focus on solutions, but a lot of people just keep on complaining, but it's like, what is that going to do? Complaining does nothing. Hello, Seamus, how you doing? Hello, Pacifier Milk. Oh, really? Well, so whatever. Why I don't watch the news anymore, yeah. News is just full of low vibrational crap. Hello, Liberty. How you doing? Hope you're well. Hello, Vienna69. How you doing? Hope you're well tonight. Welcome to my live. Hope you've had a great day. But yeah, I've been working out. I went to the gym earlier, and it was pretty intense session. So pretty much did like a full body workout. I actually started off on the frigging cross trainer. Probably not the best idea, because I was going really hard on the cross trainer. I only did like 5 minutes on it, but it was like really tough. It was really tough on the cross trainer. I went pretty hard. Probably not the best idea as a warm up, is it? I mean, I was pretty much just going right into just blasting on the friggin' cross trainer. But I've been seeing some improvements on like stamina and like that kind of stuff. So, okay. So hope you're all well tonight, people. Hope you've all had a great weekend. But yeah, just keep tapping up those screens. Yeah. Anyway, welcome in, everybody. Hope you're all well tonight. I was doing some different exercises, doing mainly like body weight stuff, really, for the most part. Yeah, I was doing a lot of like, I'm trying to get better with pull-ups and things like that, and I was doing some TRX stuff as well. Hello, Stargazer. How you doing? Hope you've had a good day. So talk about how the news and stuff. It's quite a lot of drama, a lot of like negativity and stuff. I made some delicious chocolate-covered coffee beans and also some mint chocolate dollars. Oh, nice. Hello, Stunner Bob. How you doing, Bob? Hope you're well tonight. Again, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. So yeah, just hello, Adam. How you doing? Oh really? Anyway, yeah, what have you all been up to this weekend, everybody? Everyone had a good one. Yeah. So but yeah, trying to just be more positive. Really, just focus on what's within your control is what I say. Hi, tough man. Hello there, tough man. Hello, bit F4655. How you doing? And the thing is, if things aren't going your way, sometimes you have to also take some responsibility for that, because we can't just keep like complaining when if you're not even doing everything within your power to actually make the changes happen that you want. You don't use Facebook or politics or religion, right? Yeah, Facebook, I mean, I don't use it that much. Hello, Seb Hudson, how you doing? Hope you're well. Hello, Shubham Gill, how's it going? Welcome into my live. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, everybody. Bit said Trump is good. I'm a great guy. I'm a very... Hang on a second. I gotta do my setup real quick. There we go. I got my Trump hair. It's so great. I got my wig. It's going great. That sounds tremendous. I'm such a funny guy. Hi, beeswax. Oh yeah, what colour is your Bugatti? That's like Andrew Tate. I got $1 billion from working hard. 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. How much do you know about India? Not a whole lot. No, I don't follow cricket now. How you doing, beeswax? Welcome to my live. Hope you're all well tonight. Let's have a drink. Yeah, so doing some different leg exercise. I did the TRX pistol squats. I did some like step ups and some what would they call them, like Cossack squats. Been using them. I've actually unlocked like full mobility with the Cossack squats now. So whereas before I would have struggled to get like the full stretch. So yeah, it's a good way to work on like those, like that inner thigh mobility. So yeah, so obviously there's other things like deep squats are good for like hip mobility and stuff. There's a lot of different exercises that are worth trying. Like you can try doing things like reverse Nordics. Those some people call them the body weight leg extension, which is where you kind of put your lower legs on the floor. You kind of just bend backwards, and you kind of How are we doing, Deathbat? How you doing? I saw your live stream a day before where you're exercising outdoors. Yeah, I do that sometimes. Hello, Ryan. How you doing? Hope you're well tonight. Andrea, are you still there? Thank you for joining me, everybody. Anyway, so sometimes I exercise outdoors. It depends what I feel like, but doing like a video, like doing pull-ups and stuff. I don't know, for some reason I felt a little bit weaker on the pull-ups today. I was trying to do weighted pull-ups and it just didn't seem to really have as much. I don't know. I think with some of it depends how. If you like say, sometimes it takes a bit of sometimes you've just got to give it a bit of a rest and then come back to it when you've like gotten stronger or something. Because with strength gains, I was saying that you can do better if you let your nervous system recover, because like really like intense stuff, it takes a lot out of your nervous system. So hello Nesso boy. Hello David, how you doing? I mean, it might also be good every so often to kind of take it a bit easier, to let your joints catch up with your muscles, because your joints they say how like your tendons and ligaments and stuff, they don't keep up with the rate of progress of your muscles. So then you've got to be careful with that, because some people end up getting injuries because of that. I don't know how to talk to girls. That's why I don't have a girlfriend. Well, maybe learn how to talk to girls or something. Hello, Danny. Surely it can't be that hard, right? So yes, so maybe just, what I would do, right? If you're waiting for a bus or something, let's say, as an example, and you see someone next to you, just say hi or something, and just say hi, you're going anywhere nice or something. I don't know, just it's an example of some way to like kind of break the ice with somebody, and then just see what happens really. But yeah, you don't have to overthink it. Just introduce yourself, and then if she doesn't seem that interested, then just be like, oh, have a nice day then, and just kind of leave it there. Become attractive and live your life, and then women will find you. I mean, there is that. I mean, some say that will happen, but usually men are supposed to go out and chase women though, so I'm not too sure really, because they say that men are supposed to be the one to not chase. I think chasing is bad, but to pursue. I don't know. Some people say it's more masculine for a man to like, actually, it's what. It's like the, but men just sort of like go-getters, they go get what they want. Some might argue that if a woman actually approaches you, then she's likely to be a more masculine woman, or one that's kind of built beneath your value or something. I mean, I know this might sound bad, but basically, would she really chase you? I don't know. I mean, I've heard times where, but that's if you're like really at like top level, basically. If you're some kind of like celebrity status or something like that. But if you're just like some decently attractive guy, then it's unlikely that women are gonna approach you very much. And even if they do, they might not be the ones that you're after anyway. I don't approach, and I've never been approached. So, are you attractive then, or? But it's just. I mean, the thing is that physical attraction isn't all there is to it. So, hello, Chris. Oh, really? Hello, Parvez. Okay, thank you, guys. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Thank you. So, yeah, hello, Patrick. No, I don't. I don't have a cold, no. Why? Why are you asking? Does my voice sound like it or something? Hello, Surf Ninja Gaming, how you doing? EA Sports, it's in the game. Most of the time it's ones on attractive and have no balance in account, and so it's hard to go, what do you mean? Oh, hello from New Brunswick. Oh yeah, that's in Canada, isn't it? No, I'm alright. I'm not got a cold or anything. Maybe I'm just a bit dehydrated, I don't know, but I wouldn't know if I had a cold, but yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, being single is weird, makes me feel unattracted, so I stopped putting myself out there. So have you tried approaching then or something and not gotten results? Oh, that was wrong slogan, what do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Anyway, thank you for the likes, everybody. Again, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Oh yeah, EA Sports. Oh yeah. Anyway. But yeah, it's like, if you're going to get approached, then are these going to be the ones that are the most attractive? Probably not. I don't know. I don't want to like have limiting beliefs on that and stuff, but I've hardly ever been approached myself, so I actually did. It was actually somebody that watched me on TikTok a few days ago. It was like, oh, I've seen you on there. That's just because they've seen me before on TikTok, so they know me. So the thing is, if you're at some level where they recognize you, then they'll be like, sometimes they might say hi or something, but what you mean, Alufkin? I mean, I don't need watch time. I'm monetized already, so below 420. Once I had like 9 women flirting with me concurrently, but I was a huge nerd at the time, just studying Chinese and computer science, whatever was interesting to me, and taking walks in the city. Oh, really? Well, you wouldn't expect, like, because they say like nerds are not necessarily the most attractive, but in your case, you kind of, I guess, proved that wrong in a way. I guess if you're at least somewhat attractive and funny and whatever, and it could work. I mean, okay. Jay, big thank you very much. How are you doing tonight? Hope you're well. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. So, yeah. Anyway, welcome in, everybody. What is it going on with all this? I feel like my appearance is pretty average. Yeah, I mean, there's actually a theory on this that women might actually choose a more average-looking guy, which sounds paradoxical, but she might see him as more safe. That's one of the reasons. She might feel more secure around him. Another thing is sometimes they might feel like the more attractive ones are more big-headed or something, which isn't always the case, but they can have these negative perceptions. Like, 'cause people talk about the halo effect when you're attractive and you get perceived better by women or something, but in some ways it can actually go against you. I've been told I'm probably around an 8 out of 10 or something like that, or even higher, but a lot of the guys who say I'm unattractive, they're probably just a bunch of fucking neckbeards and they just look like shit. You know, they're just projecting, a lot of them. Like, if you actually took 100 guys, I think I'd probably be better looking than most of them. And plus, I have the height as well, so, but I don't get hardly approached, so I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's, you know, like I said, you as a guy, even if you are pretty attractive to women, most of them don't really even look at you hardly. So it's just probably because it's like they've got an abundance of like simps that are like in their inbox and shit. Yeah, I'm about 6'4", so yeah. So I've been getting like more jacked and stuff, and like, and it's just kind of you get all these kind of jealous kind of people who try and nitpick at me and go on about acne scars or some shit. But it's like, you know, let's see what they look like, you know. It's not about being arrogant, it's just the people who do that, they're projecting. I mean, I have my own insecurities, but I'm not going to try and be nasty to people, you know. Hello, LM7416. But, I mean, they say hurt people, or something like that, you know. And they also say, hate always comes from below. I'm doing fine, thank you, normal guy, how you doing? So I've been trying to work on myself, I've been trying to improve. If you look at what I was like, say, 5, 6, 7 years ago, a night and day difference. So yeah. Wait, so I tell you a secret, no matter how cooked you are, girls are attracted to make an effort. What are you saying, that as long as you're trying, then that's all that matters? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. I mean, I wasn't that angry, I don't think. I was just a bit pissed off, that's all. You've never seen me really, truly angry. And you don't want to see that, and I don't want to show that again. That was actually nothing compared to how I've been before in the past, when people really get to me, but I'm trying to just, you know, stay calmer, but I don't know, there was something off the other day. I don't know, it felt like there was something going on with the full moon or something, I don't know, but does that, some say that width matters more or something than length, but it's probably not the most important thing, I guess. But anyway, I mean, if it's micro, then it is what it is. There's nothing you can do. I suppose the best thing you can do is exercise. I mean, I think that actually can help with erections and stuff. But anyway, let's see. Let's see about exercise. I've heard this thing called Kegels or something. I don't know about that one. Kegel exercises. It says these strengthen the pelvic floor muscles, which can lead to firmer erections and increased blood flow. Has anyone ever heard of that thing called Kegel exercises to increase blood flow? But you want to just do cardiovascular training to improve circulation, which is crucial for achieving and maintaining maximum erection size. So just looking into something now. How are you doing, everybody? Oh, thank you, Poivez. Losing weight, does it? It'd be something to do with blood flow. Also, higher testosterone at low body fat percentage. If your body fat percentage is too high, you'll convert more testosterone into estradiol, I think it's called, which is basically estrogen. It's so yeah, you don't want to let your body fat go too high. There's a sweet spot where going above 15 to 20% is not necessarily ideal. Yeah, going above, especially above 20%, that's where you're going to start to see some decline in testosterone, I believe. Especially above 25-30%, then that's where it's going to really, and that can lead to insulin resistance. It can and eventually lead to diabetes. But yeah, there's things you can do to increase your testosterone, like better sleep. Someone was telling me about magnesium, making sure you got enough magnesium. Some even suggest vitamin D might be crucial for that as well. Is TRT good or harmful? I would just say that if you're young and healthy, then try to just optimize your natural testosterone and see where you go from there. Unless you have really terrible testosterone, then I don't see the point. What's that? Okay. Is nicotine, but there's a lot of downsides to that as well. So, hello Annie, how you doing? I hope you're well. I don't know what stat, Dipsy. I don't know. I've not in about what is it called? Hyaluronic acid. No, I'm not doing that, Jacob. Anyway, I hope everyone's well tonight. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share the live. Nick, really, but I wouldn't recommend people smoking cigarettes. That would be like a bit of a dumb thing to be doing to try and increase test. Yeah, you might get some short-term benefit, arguably, but then over the long run, then you might feel like shit. With lungs like shit and struggling to breathe. Is that what you want to end up like? What good are you if you're struggling to fucking breathe? Fucking COPD or some shit. Hello, Mike. I'm from the UK. Where are you from? Yeah, I don't see why anyone would want to smoke cigarettes anyway. Hitting on all the lads, what the hell. Anyway, Dipsy says, do you throw what you're on about? God will reward you to 20-fold. He is waiting for you with his arms open. Oh, thank you. Increase his test, decrease his life. Yeah, everything has its, trade-offs, right? The Mike, it's like with the roids, isn't it? People wanting to tackle the roids because they can increase muscle, but then decrease lifespan. It's like, what good are you if you're not around? Let's say, what if you ever say had children, and then if you can actually even have children, because some people can become infertile, but even if, say, you did have them, some of them are not even going to see their kids grow up, let alone see them, become grandparents and what have you. It's just, some might argue that taking roids is a bit of a selfish thing to do. Even if you don't, it's like you might even, not be around to see your family and stuff like that. A lot of them, they're just gonna, I don't know. What's that? Maybe, but that could put a wealthy, good-looking man at a disadvantage due to attracting superficial women. Yeah, that's the thing, right, isn't it? That if you become wealthy, there's that disadvantage of where, how do you know if the woman that you attract is some superficial, materialistic woman? Some argue that it's better to find someone who you can build with and not too materialistic. But I think there's a point of diminishing returns, I believe, when it comes to chasing after material wealth, and at a certain point, I don't think it's really going to benefit your life. What benefit does having a 20-bedroom house going to have for you? Do you need all that space? Probably not. Anyway, yeah, let's just get rid of that. Ben Jones is spamming the chat now, so goodbye. We don't need all that. But yeah, so in 21st century, women are only attracted to luxury, not feelings. I mean, not every single woman, of course. And it's like, it will be like saying that all men just want a woman with a BBL or some shit, It's like, we can't just generalize every single person, I think. Right, anyway, so what's that? Hang on. Because weddings cost a bomb, yeah. Weddings are very expensive, aren't they? Especially nowadays, everything's so expensive, but some people just see, there's some people can be a bit narcissistic, and they see weddings more as like a kind of, look at us, we're so, it's like a kind of, some might argue it's a bit narcissistic, where it's like, it's all about them. It's all about, they do all this stuff to trying to show off to people. It's like, I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Save on ways to spend on vacations. Yeah, spend it on memories, sharing memories with each other. That's what's the most important thing. Now you could say, well, the wedding's a memory, but it's like, that can be a lot of money to waste that you're never gonna get back. So anyway, what's hybris? Yeah, what's hybris? I'm doing fine, thank you. Hello, Deuce Vuit. Don't get married. Well, I've heard that some people get screwed over, but Stargaze, you were saying, well, if you believe that you're gonna find a gold digger or something, then that's what's gonna happen, right? So if you believe that the person that you're gonna find is gonna love you for you, then it doesn't matter how much money you've got, you could argue. So what you think about that? Is it the self-fulfilling prophecy? Because I was talking with Andrea earlier, and she was saying that all the men she was with was unavailable. And I was saying that, is it because she was unavailable for herself? Because you're saying how what you see is a reflection of your internal state. And so if you're experiencing, let's say an emotionally unavailable man or woman or whatever, then maybe it's because you're emotionally unavailable for yourself or something like that. You don't you're suppressing your own kind of emotions perhaps, and you just kind of, maybe that's what's going on, and that's some kind of make the assumption you desire to experience. Yeah. That's the thing, is just, but if say somebody attracted a gold digger, is that because they deep down believed that was going to happen, that you're saying? It's just sometimes in life certain things happen without you really kind of like expecting it. So are there certain things that happen without you anticipating it? Because it seems like in this reality that things can be random at times. Hello Clover, how you doing? Hello Jesse. Yeah, hybris. What's hybris? Anyway. Whatever. Yeah, I hope you're all well tonight, people. Share the live out if you can, that would be really appreciated. Yeah. Whatever they tell you they want, they are attracted to the complete opposite. Okay, hello Susie, how you doing? I thought you stopped watching me or something because of all the nonsense. Yeah. I'm trying to just kind of both leave a bad feeling in your stomach. Yeah. If you can't maintain or grow your income, you might as well never date someone. But that's the thing, is like, what if you don't want to grow your income? You know what I mean? What if you just would rather find someone who's more modest and isn't really interested in that? Maybe you would find a hippie person or something like that who's more just about, living a simple life or something. Hello, Amelia. Yes, I do. Also, I think they're trying to spell hubris, but they don't understand what hubris is, I think. Well, I don't know if they're spelling it wrong on purpose, just to get me to react, I don't know, but whatever. But we're not going to have it anyway. Do not listen to women. Well, some people are saying that when they say that they prefer a dad bod or something like that. I've been hearing that one a lot, when they say they prefer a dad bod. I mean, in some cases that might be true, but the thing is, what they actually mean by a dad bod isn't probably like the version that you have in your head of, say, like some couch potato who's got a beer belly. I don't think that most women would really find that attractive, to be honest. I mean, I don't think they want extremes in any way, most of them, but unless they're like quite overweight themselves, then they're probably not going to be really into that. But that doesn't mean that they want, a guy who's like single digit body fat and like veins everywhere. Like, that's not really, I don't think that's really does it either. I think a more kind of balance is the key, really. A healthy level of muscle and lean, but not like crazy lean, if you know what I mean. There's a fine line, I would say, in terms of what's healthy and what's taking it too far in either way. And concentrate on yourself. So it's like when they talk about a dad bod, a lot of times they're meaning people like Henry Cavill. That's an example of like, Jason Momoa is another one. Daniel Craig. Like, these are like just kind of, pretty fit looking guys, but not excessively lean. So yeah, they're guys who look like, they're into fitness, but they don't take it too seriously. So some might prefer that just because they might feel like a bit kind of self-conscious around a guy who, or another one is the whole competition anxiety is another one as well, where they see like, oh, he's so like jacked and he's got all this stuff going on. Also, they might see him as arrogant as well if he's too into his self at the gym all the time. Some find that a bit kind of off-putting, where they're spending more time at the gym than spending with her. But I do think it's important to work on yourself though, and take care of your body as well as your mind and all that kind of stuff, because whether you're going to be attracting a woman or not, it's important for your mental and physical health to do some kind of exercise. So you shouldn't really be doing it for that reason. You should be doing it because it's the right thing to do to kind of be healthy and feel good. You get feel good hormones when you're exercising, and it's going to help make sure that you can stay independent as you get older. You don't want to end up getting to like 70, 80 years old and not able to even wipe your own ass kind of thing. It's like there's guys who get to a certain age and they just start to lose independence because they didn't exercise when they were younger. Hello, top bloke, how you doing? Yeah. We said no, muscles were to intimidate others to avoid physical confrontations back in the day. Alright. It's good to be lean. I want to be able to run for my life when I need it. Yeah, that's the thing, is that being lean and that's going to help you with that, because carrying around excessive body fat will slow you down and make you less agile. But being excessively lean can actually destroy hormones. It can make you hungry all the time. It can just make you feel a bit kind of like tired. I've heard that can happen at a certain point. So you want to find a balance that you can maintain where you can feel kind of comfortable and not taking things too far. Because there's certain people who do that where they take things too far because they believe that, well, there's this whole thing of lean is low, where it's like, yeah, that is true up to a point, but beyond a certain point, you're just going to look like there was this guy called Austin Wayne, and it just, like, some of these people kind of look a bit gaunt. Like, it's good to look lean in the face, but then there's a difference between that and then looking gaunt and looking like malnourished. So there is a point where it can be excessive. It's like you've got the fitness guy, Athlean X. It's like, for example, he looks pretty gaunt in the face. I mean, yeah, he's kind of jacked and all that, but he's excessively lean. He's like in the single digits of leanness. And I don't think that's probably sustainable for most guys. Yeah. Some say about 12% body fat's probably about the sweet spot for most guys, where you have a balance of health and aesthetics and stuff. Because some would say that's probably around 12 or so percent where you're going to start seeing that six-pack coming through, but it's not going to be like to the point where you got veins everywhere. And I've heard that if you get too lean, right, you're actually quite at risk of a paper cut, like actually death from a paper cut even. So that's something that you have to be careful of. If you get down to that level of leanness in the single digits, you can actually be at a higher risk of a paper cut, actually, because you don't have any buffer there. You just it can cause a lot of bleeding and just it's not good. So you just, what is for women? What you're on about ideal body? I think like an hourglass. I would say more of a kind of healthy level of body fat, but not to a point where there's basically. So just women tend to store more body fat than men, but basically, I think somewhere between, let me think, probably about 20 to 27% body fat, something like that, if I remember. somewhere in that range. For a woman, probably, yeah. Do they store more body fat than men? Leeds, I'm in York. Women have slower metabolism too. Yeah, women are shorter on average. So it's probably going to be easier for them to accumulate body fat. But like I said, women tend to store it more in places that are healthier. So as long as you're not like getting to a point where you're storing body fat in like, you know, in your stomach and all that, then it's still healthy. In fact, being too lean if you're a woman can actually lead to hormonal problems. It can lead to decreased estrogen, which can lead to fertility problems potentially if it gets too bad. So that's yeah. So that's the thing. Yeah, so that can happen at like that level. But yeah, there's yeah, I've heard of, yeah, it can happen a lot. I've heard it happened a lot with like some of these vegan women, but I think a lot of that came down to malnutrition, basically not eating enough calories. A lot of them get on like really restrictive diets, like especially when they go on raw food diets, and they just get their body fat down to like, you know, really, really low for a woman. Like, it just would be like really bad for that. But yeah, you want to, like, if you're if you're actually on like the plant-based diet or whatever, then you're gonna have to eat a higher volume of food in order to get the same amount of calories, because it tends to come with more fiber. So you want to just yeah, that's what it is about being a balance of fit and athletic, but not taking things to the extreme is my kind of message here. It's like there's some people out there that will promote really unrealistic expectations. There's this whole gymflation thing where people with like pretty good physiques are now being called average or mediocre or mid. You know what I mean? It's like a very skewed perspective of things, where once upon a time, let's say you had Peter Parker in Spider-Man, you see like, and I think he actually took gear for that role, but apparently, if I remember hearing that. But I mean, he had like a decent amount of muscle, but to today's standards, that would be like below average to some of these really, just like, really delusional people. Who looks old? Yeah, gears. Yeah, steroids. Yeah. Yeah, what are you on about? I don't look old if that's what you're on about. Drugs. Yeah, whatever. Obviously, just kind of, yeah, just go away. Hello, King John Super Duper. Oh, really? What is that supposed to mean? Stargazer, are you still there? Anyway, so, but yeah, my point is like, just do it for you, basically, regardless of what other people want. Regardless of even if all these women said that, even if they actually do prefer, kind of unathletic, unfit guys, so be it. Do it for you. Do it because you want to do it. There's always going to be somebody who will appreciate you for you anyway. Everybody's different, so some people are trying to kind of change themselves to try and, because they're like, oh, well, this will optimize me for a woman. That's not how you should be. If anything, that's just going to make you less attractive if they see that you're trying too hard. And sometimes they can sense these things on a deep level. They can sense when a guy is trying too hard and is trying to, I don't know, there's certain things that can be sensed, I believe. Like when you are, not being your authentic self. Hang on, I just noticed earlier with that Flashpoint account, hang on, hasn't they just took my fucking picture or something? I don't know. It looks like they fucking... It looks kind of like my image a bit. I don't know. Is that supposed to be like... What the fuck? What do you mean $500 is attractive? What are you on about? Who's Alan Ritson? What's that ghost of yours? I don't know, I'll look at it later. Hello, Word Ways, how you doing? I thought, oh, has he just like took an image of me and then turned it into some AI shit or something? So it kind of looks like they've took an image of me. Like, look at the Flashpoint guy. It kind of looks a little bit like me, I guess. He is massive. Who's massive? Early morning here, and my back still hurts. Oh, really? Well, hopefully it heals soon. Personality is more important. No point looking fit, but having the personality of a turnip. Yeah, true. That can also be why a lot of guys struggle as well, because they put so much effort into their looks, but yet they forget what's important is their personality. So, yeah. Oh, it's you, is it really? It looks like some AI shit. He already had that pic. Okay. Yeah, I just noticed it, like kind of almost. I'm not saying it looks exactly like me, but it's kind of. It's got the beard thing. It's got, you know, like the kind of similar hair to me, kind of thing. Weatherspoons. What are you on about? How much protein? I don't really count exactly how much protein, usually probably somewhere in the region of 150 grams a day, something like that, but I don't really count it, so that's kind of roughly what I probably get. Jamie is flattered. Okay. Anyway. If you want to believe it, you believe it. Oh, really? I don't know, I don't know, really. It's like, I'm just saying there's some weird people out there who will do shit like that. A little terabyte. Oh, yeah, whey protein, but I've never had that. Anyway. I was going to look up something about, beetroot juice. Yeah, I've been looking into beetroot juice. There are some people who've actually took my image and then, like, spoofed it. It happened a lot on TikTok, where people would take my image and then they would put glasses on it and say, "We look alike," or something. It's just really weird. Flex some muscle, oh goodness. Not right now. I love Asia. Have you noticed background of my pic? Oh, Asia. Oh, yeah. You've been traveling to Asia or something. Hit the like button, everybody. Anyway, so, what's this guy? Yeah, there's a guy called Nab Ventures. He's, I haven't seen him for a few days in here, but yeah, he's been on his travels in Philippines. He's got himself a woman over there. Well, he was saying that women tend to be better over there. What do you guys think? But it's like, but some might say, well, I remember there was this woman that was saying that these guys who go to like Southeast Asia and whatever to get a woman are actually beta males or something. And what do you think about that? What is your thoughts? Oh, really? Okay. Well, everyone's got their own preferences, haven't they? But basically, like, this woman was saying that when men go doing the passport bro thing, that they're actually beta males or something. And what would you say about that? Filipinos just looking for passports, but that doesn't mean Western women are any better. Well, I think some people are just quite opportunists, but this Nab was saying that this woman was treating him better or something than a lot of Western women, but I mean, you could say, well, it's just, if she sees that he's, earning more than her, then she's going to show more respect or something. I don't know, it's like, some say, like, if you're some, like, white guy and you've got even just a decent amount of money, you go over in one of these poor countries, you're going to be seen like a king kind of thing because of the leverage or something. Anyway, what's that? For some men, it's just preference, taste for the exotic. Though there is some of that as well. Some people have that. But you get some kind of creepy older guys just kind of, yeah. Anyway, okay, whatever. Bev says, Indonesian girl asked me to buy her a Gucci handbag. What did you do? Mui says, hi, how you doing? Welcome back. How's it going? Hope you've all had a good day today, people. Okay, Flashpoint. Well, I suppose you mean like, because they all have the same, like similar colour of eyes and stuff like that, and certain features are quite similar. But you can still find someone attractive even if they all look the same or whatever. I mean, what's Beaturia? What's that? What's Beaturia? I don't know what that is, but I know someone was warning about the oxalate content of beetroot, but STI, what the hell? STI. Huh. Ghost's been single since October 2022. Alright. Well, yeah, I've seen some like Filipinos and they look quite nice, I think. I'm 30 years old. Hector, why? Hello, Casitio, how you doing? Good to see you again. Yeah. Actually, single too long here. I've got a love interest, but she is playing hard to get. Alright. Well, that's the thing, and it just... Yeah. Some people will do that, don't they? They just, people playing hard to get, playing games and shit, I would just kind of forget about it. If they're just trying to play games and just... It's like if someone's interested, just cut to the chase and let's meet up, let's find out, Don't fuck around, It's probably best that you just kind of back off, I think, if they just kind of, approach avoiding, just, you know what I mean? No, I don't, Ika. Why? Why are you asking? I don't think she can get pregnant past the menopause age. Okay. So is that something you want to have a child or something? You want to have a child, right? I suppose it could be a deal breaker for some people, depending on very attractive but makes you wonder, possibly. Sometimes people are a bit kind of secretive about things, and it's like they don't want to nearly 47. Yeah, that's around that age where they can be starting to get there. And Susie, are you still there? Anyway, so that's the sort of age where you can start kind of a bit with kind of fertility issues. You can be, but even if they do get pregnant, the chances of it being successful is less. With that being said, my mate, I think she had him at like his mum had him about 38, and I think his brother, like when she was over 40. So, a 27-year-old gay man, I'm menstruating. What the hell? How can you be a 27-year-old? What does that mean? Unless you're one of these kind of trans or something where many miscarriage at that age, yeah, or even they might have birth defects and things like that. So there's all sorts of shit that can go wrong, isn't there, at that age? Some might just not want to take the chance. Who's a J.K. Rowling hater? What you on about? Who's a J.K. Rowling hater? What are you talking about? Downs or autism? Yeah, that's the thing. It's could potentially be something like that. Oh, I'm just looking at last videos on good views now. See, yeah, it's on. Hang on, 800 odd views or something. So look, the guy who menstruates is hater of Rowling. You're on about the whole thing with the what is a woman? I don't really want to get into arguments about that, because to me it's like people are going to just, there's this whole thing on definitions of words and stuff, and it's just, the way I see it, it's a bit confusing when you're using two words like men and women, and then can mean totally different things, and then they decided that, oh, well, actually gender means this now or something, and I don't know what's going on. Oh, you're taking the piss. Alright, okay. I don't know, it's hard to know if people are serious sometimes, and I don't know. I don't know what's like people are like sort of on about sometimes. They're just like like, yeah. No, man is man, woman is woman. That's what I would think, but then they'll say, oh, but you know, like something like trans women that they're, because they have different brain chemistry or something. It's like saying that, oh, well, they're a woman because they feel like a woman, they have the brain of a woman or something. I don't know, it's just, but on a DNA level, they're still a man, you could argue, and it's just, there are certain things that you can't change. Like, there's always been, like, tomboys, there's always been, like, effeminate men. Does that mean that they're a woman, though? It just gets all kind of, like, semantic, I think, at a certain point. It's just, yeah. Hello, Patrick Stanley. How you doing tonight, everybody? Yeah, that's the thing, is that if you can get pregnant, then I would call you a woman, but it's like, there was that whole thing with, like, trans women competing in, you know, like, in women's sports, and how they had a advantage. Remember there was that whole Leah Thomas scandal thing, you could call it. I mean, with the whole thing of how when she was, you know, competing with women, she was not even in like the top 100 or something. But then when competing with, you know, like competing with men wasn't even in the top 100, but then competing with women, then like almost like blowing everyone else out the water. It's like, yeah, no pun intended. Hello, Big C, how you doing? It just gets a little bit kind of crazy to me, but I don't know, the whole thing where it's like slippery slope, where it's like, what do we do with that? You know, we got people who identify as a woman, and then they're going into, you know, so they'd be able to go into a woman's, you know, changing room or toilets or things like that. I mean, cause it's like, where do you draw the line with this kind of stuff, you know? It's like, because it's like, that's the problem, where if you was to give them that, okay, yeah, that's the whole trans stuff, but then it's like, it can then go into like, oh, well, you know, maybe we can let them into, maybe we can give children puberty blockers and things like that, which to me is, I would argue that that's child abuse. Because I don't think they're at an age where they actually are able to make that decision. Like, how is a child able to make a decision if they're not able to consent to, you know what I mean? It's like they're just, you know, it's like there's certain things they cannot consent to, like having, sex, for example, or even they can't even buy alcohol until they're a certain age. It's all a bit of a confusing one because it's like they can go and they can have someone else buy it for them, but they can't buy it themselves. I mean, I don't know. The laws just don't seem to really make any sense. Like how is puberty blockers not considered as like a similar kind of thing, because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. This is all research. It's like they're using them as guinea pigs to kind of see what's going to happen, long-term effects and stuff. Because we still don't know all the long-term effects of this stuff. Hello, the silent hand. Okay. Yeah, I think there is a lot of mental illness out there with social media and all that. It's this is probably why you get a lot of them saying they identify as a snowflake, or they identify as a meteor, or they identify as an alien. I don't know. It's just. I remember back a while ago there was a thing called otherkin. I guess it was a similar sort of thing. I don't know. I've not heard it for a while, but it was like a sort of saying something about they identify either spiritually, psychologically, or metaphorically as partially or entirely human or something. It's this subculture includes people who believe they are or have the soul of mythical beings, dragons, elves, fairies, or animals, wolves, foxes, often referring to their identity as a kin type. Originating from 1990s online communities, many other kin acknowledge being physically human but feel a deep, often involuntary, non-human identity. So this has been going on for quite a while. There was this whole other kin thing that was big a while ago. Well, not big, but it was like a sort of subculture sort of thing. Hello, Wordways. How you doing? If anyone's new here, hit that like button, hit subscribe. Yeah, not a thing in 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. It was, when the internet started getting big and people started spreading a bunch of ideologies around. And hello, Eunice. How you doing tonight? I hope you're well. Thank you for the likes, everybody. Like, just start spreading like wildfire. And people can put out something like that sounds convincing to each other, and they just kind of delude each other into thinking that there's something that they're not. It can be quite dangerous, can't it? Hello, GD6. Oh yeah, I do know that. Yeah, why are you asking anyway? I mean, why are you telling me that? Yes, I do know that yogurt comes from milk, unless it's plant-based yogurt or something. Snowflake behavior. Yeah, it's. Yeah, so it's not really, it's just people creating it as a thing. Yeah, I guess maybe it's just that they want to feel special. I think that if you want to feel special, then maybe the whole idea of this unified consciousness thing I was talking about. Hello, Anton Marshall. I'm mainly doing this at the moment. Hello, Christopher Price. How you doing? I hope you're well tonight. Nice to have you all here. So yeah, I'm just saying that, so, if you feel like you're unified consciousness, then that means that we're literally God, basically, is what I'm saying. Who knows if it's true, but it's a theory I have on the soul, consciousness and all that. But what if it's just all one unified field of consciousness that only feels separate because it's an illusion, and but we're all kind of basically so different versions of you in different instances, possibly. I mean, the thing is, we can't really prove any of this stuff, but anyway. Why do I sound so monotone? I just do, Why are you asking? why do you care? Yeah, that's just something that, I can't really help. So maybe unified consciousness is more like a metaphor, maybe. But it's like, I've come to think, well, there's no way of me proving that anybody else has an independent consciousness than myself. I don't see any way of proving that there's any other consciousness in the universe other than my own, which might sound crazy to people. Some people get locked up. They get, put in a shrink or whatever. It's like, it's just, but, there is no way of proving it though. It could just all be one consciousness. Everything else could just be a reflection. We are a part of combined consciousness, as you said, brother, you're right. So that's what you believe. Well, it's like, maybe God actually basically split himself into multiple identities or something, to have multiple different experiences. So maybe whatever people want to call it, God or Brahma or whatever. No, I've never done that, no. But I'm starting to think that, like, the scientific way of explaining things doesn't make sense in terms of, like, the whole thing of consciousness just emerges out of material things, that just sparks into existence because of some, that it just randomly came about, like that I just randomly came about through many, many millions and billions of years of evolution. So I'm thinking, what if this isn't just some random chance that I happened? Like, what if that I've been here since the dawn of time and that I am the creator? What if you're all the creator? What if you've all been here since the dawn of time and you are the co-creators of this reality? I mean, I can believe in the Darwin theory. I mean, but it could be something that coincides with my theory, potentially. We are co-creators. But what if the whole co-creator is actually from a single being, is what I'm saying. That is a single entity. So, it's deep stuff, but a lot of people aren't going to open their mind up to see that possibility, because it makes you challenge everything that you thought you knew. What this implies is that if you was to give birth to a child, it actually means that you're giving birth to yourself. Because if there's this whole idea there's nothing separate, that there's no separate sort of entity out there, that some believe in quantum theory. In fact, even Schrödinger himself believed that there was no other consciousness out there, that there was only one consciousness. Who knows? But it's just, what I'm saying is that if you feel like you're part of this unified consciousness, then maybe that will make you feel more, maybe it'll give you a sense of, I don't know, like belonging to the universe or something. Make you not feel lonely, perhaps. Now, of course, there's other ways to do that, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's just like, if you can have that perspective where maybe I am just, greater than just this limited experience that I'm in right now, that I'm part of a greater consciousness that is the universe. Because I might say that the universe doesn't exist unless we're conscious of it, and that consciousness doesn't exist without the universe. So maybe it's a sort of duality thing where one can't exist without the other. I mean, I would just say, like, I think there's things like minoxidil, finasteride or something for hairline. Worst come to worst, you could get a transplant if you want to return to the baseline or whatever, but beyond that, I wouldn't really bother too much. It's all one thing. You're on about one being in this universe. So some might make people feel lonely, but what that could imply though is that if you was to bully somebody, that you're actually bullying yourself. That person that you hurt, what if that you're actually hurting yourself? You don't even realize it. It's actually yeah. Now how about this this thought that, so if that could be a future version of yourself potentially that you actually hurt, that be like karma, you could say. You know, bully someone that you see, and that could be like a future version of yourself. I mean, it's such a crazy theory, but yeah. We're not all one, we are diverse and unique and have our own creator as well. If that's what you want to believe, you know, we all have our own beliefs. Hello, Aloof Gun. Hope you're well. Hello, Be Like Bam Bam. How you doing? Like negative self-talk. Oh yeah, you're on about like positive self-talk is a way to like bring positive things into existence, like saying I'm worthy or I'm abundant and all that kind of stuff. Why do you care? I'm good, thank you, Ardent Blue. Why are you so obsessed with Kay's cooking or something? You keep going about Kay's cooking or something. I mean, I don't get what this whole obsession's about. I'm okay, thank you, Anton Marshall. How are you? Yeah, I'm just, yeah, I'm not doing too bad. We're all part of a union of the spirit. Yeah, so that would mean that there is no separation. Because in some spiritual texts, they talk about spiritual oneness, non-duality in a spiritual context, in like that the illusion of other people is actually just that as an illusion. It seems like they're separate to us, but actually part of the same spirit or something. Lovely lady from Sussex. Alright. Okay. But yeah, hope everyone's well tonight. Share the live out if you can. Yeah. Keep the chat flowing. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure, Eunice. I don't know what is going on over there. I know I talk about politics sometimes, but I don't really know too much about all that. Good day, Mick Lloyd from Melbourne, Australia. Putting another shrimp on the barbie. Yeah, what's going on with Iran then? And I've heard that there's some like uprising shit or whatever's going on, or I just don't really pay too much attention to the media, really. Anyway, whatever. What's everybody been up to today? Hello, Stuart. Nice to meet you. How you doing? Yeah, we just talk a lot about different things on here and all sorts of different topics. So yeah, I've just been... Yeah. Hello, Mochi. How you doing? Hello, Shamari. Hello there, Shamari from Canada, eh? How you doing, eh? I'm just gonna go get some maple syrup, eh? I'm just messing. Wallpaper, nah. Nah, I haven't, nah. No, I'm not bothered. I can't be arsed with all that, really. I'm alright, thank you. So I was originally just planning on not really living here very long, basically. But I've been living here longer than I even thought I was going to be, to be honest. So I had some plans, basically, on travelling, but I ended up kind of just, not getting around to it yet. Hello, Seth. How you doing? I own it. Sorry, I rent it. I'll never be able to own this place, because, unfortunately, but... Hello, Diane Hawley. Yes, I'm in England, yeah. Am I lonely? Not really. I've got you guys, so... How can I be lonely if I'm here with you guys? It's not that expensive, but in the long term, I would probably want to have somewhere that's my own. So maybe I was actually thinking whether I should get some land, perhaps. Maybe just a tiny home or something, perhaps. There's like this community of like people doing like tiny, like a tiny house or something. All this stuff, everything being one, and why we've all got be what one comes from Judaism. Before Abrahamic religion spread, we were all different, all had our own ways. Now we have to forget and serve one God. Okay. But I actually see it differently, and that maybe we are all part of one God, but we're all different. But we all share the same consciousness, but we're all different expressions of that consciousness, all having different lives. Come to Scotland. Where's that then, Diane? Yeah, but Belfast. How much does it cost in Belfast? Belfast? I've heard in like somewhere like Northumberland and where else? Durham, somewhere around there, they have some quite cheap houses. Cheap rent, oh yeah. I mean, it's not that bad here, but yeah. But who knows, in the next few years it could go up in price, because it has gone up by about, even in just the time, I've only been here for about just over 3 years, and the rent's already gone up by about 25%, something like that. It's probably going to go up again in the next, when it gets to April. So, it's one of those things, isn't it? Anyway. Chemtrails. Oh yeah, I've heard about chemtrails. Oh, Marcus. Does anyone actually believe in chemtrails or something? Or some say they're just like persistent contrails, that they're not actually was what they're saying they are, that they're putting chemicals in there. Some people are saying they're putting barium and strontium or whatever it is in these chemtrails or in these trails, and that's why it's causing them to like spread and cause like basically go from a clear blue skies to like in 30 minutes completely overcast. And I've seen that happen before. It's like, what the fuck just happened? We just had blue skies and now it's overcast. Bit strange, really. I mean, I don't really know my landlords. Hello, British. Heinz, what the hell? Okay. What do you mean? What is this channel about? Well, here just to make conversation and talk to people and try and talk about some meaningful things like well-being. We talk about the state of the world. We talk about solutions. We talk, different things, and we talk about. Like the other day, I was talking about world poverty and things like that, and how like Africa, for example, and the issues going on over there, and how could they maybe solve that? Trying to think of like, because anyway, Diane says breakload. What do you mean? Steph says bin. Sorry. Is it litter or bin? Well, we call them bins. in the UK. In America, they call it like garbage can or something, or trash can. Put it in the trash can, or garbage can. Yeah. It's either garbage or trash, isn't it? In America, there's a term called trailer trash or something, which is like a sort of derogatory term or something. It's good night, see you later, muy. Like I think it's to do with these like trailer parks or something like that. Like these people living in these kind of poor kind of places or something, living in trailer parks or something. Yeah. Americans are funny. They, Australia, New Zealand, or US states. Well, how's that then? Trailer Park Boys was great. Yeah, I've only seen clips of it, but I need to watch more. Is it one that you actually need to watch to kind of... Because I saw some clips, I didn't really get it. So is it one that you have to really see to understand the lore behind it or something? To really fully get the humour behind it or something? What are you saying? Because it's about trans. What about trans? And about transgenders or something? Hello, Mina. How you doing? I don't know. It's just I'd have to maybe watch like a full episode or something, and yeah, you have to watch that then. How you doing, Mina? I hope you're well tonight. But you get these kind of like rough kind of people who are just usually a lot of drugs and alcohol and shit is what it's associated with. Hello, Jobel. Obviously not everybody that lives in a trailer is going to be like that. But that's like a kind of stereotype or something. Bottle of water. Would you still have loved me if I... What the fuck? The fuck are you saying here, Kyle? What's that? I looked feminine as a boy, but didn't identify as trans. It wasn't a thing back then. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing, is that people can think that they're trans because, oh, well, I feel like a feminine as a guy, and like, but it's like, well, maybe you're just an effeminate guy, like how you always had tomboys. You get like these girls are a bit more like into boy things. They do a lot of like, they might be into football, they might be into more, traditionally boyish sort of things. That doesn't mean that they're a man or a boy or whatever. It's just really quite a... Yeah, we've always had that, but why did they just decide to change all that and say, oh, actually, maybe you are actually a boy? Harry Potter. There's always been like tomboys, there's always been effeminate men. Anyway. So Finnish term, craft networks. I don't know if craft networks. I don't know that one. Anyway. everybody okay then? Hope you're all doing well tonight. The drum mimicry, it's so great, I'm such a great drum guy. Not fully, I'm a mixed part Scottish, part Norwegian from Finnish speaking area. Alright. Hello, Pol Pot, man. Oh god. Isn't Pol Pot a fucking like, hang on a sec. The fuck? Some fucking like, politician guy. I just remember there was some kind of fucking shit going on. Pol Pot. Yeah, I've heard he's responsible for like a lot of like unalive people being, you know what I mean? People being unalive, shall we say. So it says he was a revolutionary dictator who ruled the democratic Kampuchea from 1975 until his overthrow in 1979. So, yeah. Well, people say, oh, it's because he was communist or something, but then Pizzagate was real, you're saying? What's your proof on that then? I remember I saw some stuff on Pizzagate a while ago, and some stuff were kind of disturbing. Like, there was that whole Podesta thing, I remember, and there was connections to, like, Hillary Clinton and stuff, but it was all, like, yeah, there was all this kind of stuff. It was just before the whole US elections in 2016, and there was a lot of, like, theories around it and stuff, and, like, who's connected. I guess it was, like, the whole kind of, there was, like, that whole Epstein thing, and that was, like, the kind of thing before all that, and all that sort of, you know, elite people in these potentially, you know, connected to like gangs or something. And what you say in Nigeria, what you say in Y2K, or year 2000. Yeah, all right, okay. Whatever. But yeah, so much say, oh well, you know, just because, you know, that wasn't real, as in that wasn't real communism, like they'll say about like Soviet Russia. Or it wasn't real communism. Hello, Tennis Insights, how you doing? What would you say to that? Like, because you could argue that, well, if communism was done, you know, without a dictator, does it have to have a dictator for it to work, or does it, you know, kind of inherently have to have some kind of ruthless dictator? Because to me, communism is about everybody being equal. Isn't that a bit of a contradiction if you have somebody that has that much authority over the people? Therefore, how is that communism? Isn't that like more like fascism then? Like the other side of the spectrum would be like fascism, where it's basically a really like a dictatorship. So what I'm saying is maybe communism and fascism aren't that different then, I don't know. It's like, look at North Korea, for example. Couldn't they be considered as fascist? They are, you know, authoritarianism, and that's what, you know, this is defined as fascism, basically. The only difference between them is the spelling. But communism, when you think of like a commune, it's like, it almost makes me think of like a prison. Like a commune is like a kind of, I don't know, maybe their version of communism means like just basically imprisoning their own people. Because in North Korea, you can't even escape the place. Like literally, there's people that have fled. Like there was, what was she called? I remember there was some woman. I think she went on Joe Rogan or something. And she was like she escaped North Korea, and that was, yeah, like it's like, so it's not like an open thing where you can just leave. It's not an open door. It's like you have to stay there or something and just put up with their bullshit, or you have to like try and secretly get out somehow. One is forced and the other is chosen. Which one's that then? Hi Betamax, how you doing? Hi Heaven, how you doing? So which one is chosen? You know about fascism or communism? Fahad says capitalism is best. Well, some might say that capitalism has its own problems with corruption and like cronyism and stuff like that, but some might say that isn't inherently capitalism's fault, but rather the lack of regulation and most things like bribing and other just kind of sleazy things. But you could say, well, compared to the alternatives, but some might say socialism is better. But I was actually talking to someone who, well, I think they were like a socialist, but then I would actually like explain to them like how basically, essentially like with any of these sort of systems that encourages that nobody earns more than the other person and that everybody's equal and all that kind of stuff, and how is that actually going to work in reality? Like, don't we need to incentivize people to innovate? And I don't know. I mean, unless they're going to be like, like backed by the state or something, but then the taxpayer would have to like fund that. So instead of it being some kind of free market, arguably the free market is better at innovation anyway. But that's a whole different argument. But so because if say someone wants to invent a new idea, they want to, they're gonna put a lot of time and effort to try and come up with some new idea that's potentially not even gonna work. They're taking on a lot of risk. So shouldn't they be paid more money than the person who is like, shouldn't they be paid more than the person who's just, gets, just like employed onto that? Why would you want to pay them the same as you are? But you're the one that started the business. It was your idea. It was your... Let's say someone invents a new technology, for example, and now you start hiring employees to work there. Like, I think there's certain people that should be paid more depending on what level of input that they put into a company and things like that. If you're at a higher level, you get paid more because you're more. That's just in life, the more established you get, the more experience you get, then the more money you can earn. But I do agree with people when they say that workers are not being paid enough in a lot of cases, but it might be more of a problem of heavy taxation that really is probably the problem, that when poor people are being taxed. Maybe if it wasn't for all the tax, then they'd probably have thousands of extra pounds of a year in disposable income, which would make it a lot easier to save up money and be able to be upwardly mobile. Communism is capitalism. How does that work then? Now you could say if it's extreme, then it could become similar if, say, like corporations then become the state or something. So I've heard someone was saying about that theory of extreme capitalism could lead to that. So anyway, But I think there's what's that? There is expertise and an exchange of value. Yeah. State capitalism. Well, yeah, that's different from like free market capitalism, though, isn't it? In order to have like, you might say there needs to be certain regulations, because otherwise monopolies can form, and arguably that's not free market capitalism at that point. I don't agree with things like a lot of these patents and stuff like that, like especially on things like healthcare and stuff like that. Like, why should healthcare be patented? Why not just let other companies like sort of sort of like say use that same thing? It's like, but then it goes back to some might say, well, it was their idea, they should be able to have the rights to it, their intellectual property. But I think when it comes to things like healthcare, like we shouldn't be able to just kind of charge ridiculous amounts for it. So I think when it comes to things like that, I mean, like I draw a line where it's like all these fucking patents and shit. It's like, you know what I mean? It's, they just get very greedy, and once they've got the monopoly on it, then they're pretty much getting like probably 90% profit or something off the fucking products or some shit. I don't know. Hello, Hugh. How you doing? Sorry. Yeah, if I missed you, but yeah. I don't know. It's just a bit of a bullshit, really, isn't it? Hello. 3 select. Decentralized financials for winners. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Decentralized financials for winners. So yeah, it's just like I was saying that you maybe like there needs to be some rich people and some poor people, but not poor, but like relatively speaking. But I think that there needs to be more upward mobility in society. Make it easier for people to actually work their way up the ladder, whether that's to, you know, maybe start their own business, maybe to get on the property ladder, things like that. I don't want to talk with what's going on here. Soul in the hand of big corporate bosses. Yeah. I think the problem is when the corporations have more power than the state, they're actually able to like influence policies, because it's in the government's best interest to, you know, make money. So it's like sometimes they will take secret deals and whatever. You decentralized is better than centralized. People can do their own bank and etc. Are you on about get rid of the central bank? Some people are saying that it's this whole, like in America you've got like Federal Reserve. Here we've got, you know, like the Central Bank of England, which is, you know, arguably it's like corrupt, and especially when, you know, governments are like interfering with things, and that can, you know, mess things up. And some argue that a more kind of what some people call laissez-faire, where it basically means something like leave it be. It's a more kind of what you call it, more free market. But yeah, I've looked into different political and economic systems and stuff, but some say about how the banking's become too regulated, but then some might say it needs more regulation. But some argue some of the regulations lead to more problems in the long run. Where, for example, it might benefit in the short term, but then, like when you do things like interest rate fixing and things like that, some argue that by trying to artificially, manipulate things, that ends up causing more problems in the long run. Market flexibility is important. Yeah, about with like rates, like interest rates and things like that. But when they're doing things like freezing rates or whatever, it's like, is that really? It might sound good to people, but then economists might say it different, because they study things. They'll study graphs, they study things like stocks and shares and things and different economic activity and how things naturally will fluctuate, and by trying to artificially freeze things, that can lead to stagnations in the economy, and even worse, can lead to recessions possibly. And yeah, so there's. I mean, I'm not really 100. I don't know too much about these sort of things, but I just feel like interfering too much might not be a good idea. I do think there does need to be certain regulations, like things like products need to be transparently labeled with things, like if say there's allergy risks and things like that, need to label what ingredients are in certain things. But some things are too regulated, like for example, there's a lot of red tape, there's a lot of bullshit that actually makes it harder for people to just start up their own small businesses. Like, for example, needing certain permits, licenses and what have you. And sometimes these can actually be not even very cheap and can actually be even quite difficult for, because if they're having to pay all these licenses and all these different things, then it's because I've heard sometimes small businesses, it's oftentimes difficult for them to start with all these start-up fees and what have you, that some of this is not always necessary. I mean, I don't know too much about all that stuff, but I just heard that there's a lot of red tape that basically prevents a lot of the smaller businesses from getting started. If I remember, there was this guy called Walsh who's like some kind of socialist kind of commentator, but I think even he said, if I remember, it might have been him, even he said that he believes that that some of this red tape needs to kind of go, which kind of restricts a lot of businesses. There's a lot of things that can get in the way and make it harder to get started. Whether it's that you need to get planning permissions for certain things that can be delayed in certain situations, and it's just, whenever there's any kind of barrier to entry, that can create resistance. We need to not have a resistance. We need more, if anything, we need more competition. We need more people trying to compete in these different sectors and things, because with more competition, you have better productivity and innovation. So I would recommend that there needs to be less restrictions on startup companies, and they need to be actually getting encouraged to start up, They just talk about like economics and how it's just like, I feel like a lot of people, they don't really understand it that well. I mean, even a lot of these people who think that they know it, they've studied certain things, like they might have studied Karl Marx or whatever, and they think now that they're some kind of expert. You get a lot of Dunning-Kruger effect with these sort of things. So I don't want to say that I know everything. All I'm doing is I'm just putting ideas out there. Let's talk about it, because I want to hear different perspectives. But you get these people in echo chambers, and they have oftentimes Dunning-Kruger effects, and they think they're so intelligent and all that because they've read a fucking Karl Marx book, or they've read some Austrian economics book or whatever, and now they think that they're,
they're fully clued up on economics. And yeah, you might have some basic understanding of certain concepts, but doesn't mean that you are right about everything. And so that's the thing. It's just, oh really? Oh goodness. So we just got to try and you know what I mean? Try to stay humble, not really think that we're just some kind of, not delude ourselves. Sometimes there can be some hubris going on with people where they think that they're so smart because they've read a few books. Well, it's like you get these self-improvement gurus and all that who they think they're some kind of expert on self-improvement when all they've done is just read the 4-hour work week or whatever fucking books out there, and now they think they're some kind of guru. It's kind of cringe really, but I don't know much about economics, but I know that the prices in the 90s and 2000s were much better than the 2010s, 2020s. Yeah, that's something that we can all agree on, right? Because, yeah, things have changed, Prices have gotten a lot higher. Like the price of a Freddo in 2000 was 10p. Price of a Freddo now is about 35p. Whereas the average salary was about, I think, 18 or 19,000 back then. Now it's, about 38,000, something like that. If I remember, it could be wrong, but something in that ballpark. Basically, it's about doubled, basically, in that time. However, the prices on a lot of things have more than tripled, which is just not proportionate, arguably. Price of houses is another one as well. A house could be cheap back then, and yeah. Someone was saying about Belfast house prices. So someone was, mentioned about Belfast. Hello, Gary. No. So let's have a look at Belfast. Do they have cheap houses there or something? In case anyone wants to move to Belfast. So let's have a look. But it's I don't want to pretend like I know about, a lot about things such as central banking and things like property. Not property, what am I about? As in terms of interest rates and things like that, and whether they should be tampered with and all that. Right, let's just go to price range. Let's go to, filters. I want to go to minimum to maximum. Let's just go to a different site. So if I go to minimum to maximum, the cheapest property on here is, let's see, no, that won't be it. Was it highest priced? Let's go lowest price. Okay, let's have a look. Lowest price first is what I'm looking for. And let's see. Well, the cheapest on here is 80-some thousand. Well, that's actually a lot more expensive than some other places I've seen. I mean, if I was to go to let's say Sunderland, for example, right? Sunderland's a good example, but you tend to get some really rough places there. Let's say Sunderland, right? Sunderland. Hang on a second. As an example, so Sunderland. See what the cheapest it brings on here. So it says, hang on, let's go to cheapest. Yeah, we alright, people? Hope you're all well. I'm going to probably restart the live in a minute. Well, it says 5,000, but it's obviously not it says it's a studio, so. But a lot of these are going to be student accommodation, but there's one here at 23,000. Let's have a look at this one. A flat, it's a 1-bedroom flat, but it's 23,000. So, yeah. Apricot, what's that? What are you saying? 4,564 francs. Anyway, if anyone's new here, hit that subscribe button. Let's have a look, see what it looks like inside. Is it Sometimes these places are really bad. But I mean, 23,000, it doesn't look too bad actually. It's a 1-bedroom flat for 23,000. Let's see what the, if there's any catches here. Yeah. I don't see anything about, hang on a sec. Right. So it's a 1-bedroom flat. What's the catch here? You got administration fee, so there is that. What's this? Yeah, probably leasehold. Yeah, that's where they get you, isn't it? Leasehold, which is, yeah, it says leasehold, but how much will that be in rent? Ground rent. Yeah, Sunderland will be like, there's some crime and stuff on it, but yeah. Let's have a look at this one. 34,000. There was one for 30,000. 2-bedroom flat. Will this be leasehold as well? Yeah, leasehold. So how much would it be for, like, hello Stephen, $12 an hour? You'd be living in extreme poverty, pretty much. Yeah. Isn't it something like $7 something or whatever an hour in America is like the minimum wage, which is crazy. Who the fuck can actually live off that, you know? You'd be like working at 80 hours a week or something. I mean, there's a bunch of mess in there, but it could be cleared out and then maybe it could be sold on for profit. You know, get rid of all the fucking mess and just sell it on for profit. That's what you could do with some places. Yeah, flat's the same as an apartment, yeah. Yeah, end up paying $400 a month for maintenance. That's crazy, that, yeah. But what you could do is just like, yeah, get one that's quite cheap and just one that doesn't need too much work doing to it. Maybe it just needs a clean, maybe it just needs some stuff, you know, taken out of it, and then sell it on for like, for profit. So that's one way to potentially make money. So sometimes they might need a lot of work, but if it just needs some like cleaning up, maybe it just needs some like, maybe there's some mold in some cases, you need to clean that, whatever, and just, yeah. Let's have a look at some more then. I've got one here, 35, no that's land, 35,000. So it's a tiny bit of land or something. Yeah. Yeah, is everyone alright then? Hello, Andux. $10 an hour is normal in the Netherlands at supermarket job level. Oh, is it really? Because here I think the minimum wage is something like £12 something an hour, or something like that, £12 an hour, whatever it is. Which is basically almost £500 a week in, yeah, if you're working full time. So, which still isn't great, but yeah, it is doable for a lot of people, but depends where you live though. Small $940 a month, which is really rare in Boston. Really, I suppose, like, yeah, is it quite? I guess it's quite expensive there in Boston, Massachusetts. Yeah. Oh, there's one here that's got tenant in situ. But it says it's leasehold. So then it would say, currently achieving £500 per calendar month, £6,000 per year. So, but it's like, you'll have all these costs that you have to deal with. So you have to kind of figure it out. So if you've got a property at, say, 40,000 and then some other costs of buying it as well, but let's say, you look at that and you think, oh, right, well, that's like 15% per year. But, you know, if it's leasehold, then you're going to be the one paying for that lease, right? So, yeah, that's the only thing with that. Let's see what it says on the what is the, like, how much would it cost for things like insurance and stuff like that? You'd have to look into this stuff. So £500 per month, but then once you've gotten rid of all the costs of it and stuff, then it might end up being like, if you know how you're doing, it might end up being like only £300 a month, maybe, if that. So you've got to look into these things before you buy it, I guess. If it's just an idea, you could like buy one that's got like somebody in it to rent it and just have it as a sort of investment property. The good thing about like rental properties is, like, if you're buying it for a rental, like renting it out, then even if you only get, say, like 6-7% a year or whatever, you've then got like capital appreciation. So if it's worth 40,000 now, it might be worth more than that. But let's say you buy one at 100,000, let's say. I mean, it depends where you buy it and stuff. Hello, Edel. But it might be worth, like double that price in 10 years' time or something. So you got that income, plus you got the capital appreciation. So if you do end up deciding to sell it, then it can potentially be worth a lot more in the long run. Because property tends to go up above inflation rates, so it can be a good asset to have for that. But yeah, I do meditate sometimes. Why? Yeah, I do sometimes. Yeah, I did a bit sort of like, I guess you could call it meditation, but I just kind of, after I've done like a hard session at the gym, I just kind of zone out. Sometimes I just kind of, my brain just switches off. Like I stopped doing like all the stimulation kind of activities like scrolling and whatever, or watching videos, and just kind of stop all that and just kind of, I'm just left with my thoughts and stuff, and just yeah. Hello Maureen, how you doing? Hello, I'm a keep it real. Yeah, I do. Let's see one of these. Oh yeah. Oh goodness. Anyway, let's have a drink. I'm gonna be restarting the live, I think. Oh, you're good. That's good then. You're right. The dollar could get you somewhere in the 90s. Yeah, yeah. I work out too, ladies. All right. You're trying to impress a lady because you work out. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just did a thing of commando pull-up earlier, so yeah. Thing is, I don't know what's going on in my back somewhere. It might just be, I don't know. Oh, maybe pulled something a little bit. I don't know. It's just might be from all the bending back a bit. If you do that too much, that could strain it. So I was trying to do the what some call it the Duranda pull-up, which is like one where you're bending back, and that could lead to strain if you do it excessively, especially if you're not used to it. I was also doing this bending back stuff to try and do a bunch of like stuff on the TRX to try and position my body in a way that would hit certain muscle groups, but it's not hurting or anything. It's just I just noticed there's something in the middle of my back that's probably my spinal erectors or something like that from a lot of hyperextension. I think it was like hyperextension, but yeah, the hyperextension stuff can be a bit, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so that worked then. Basically, I shared out the video of the pull-up thing, and what it is, yeah. So what I did is you can actually mention other channels, and by doing that, you can actually connect with people. So yeah, so it can be a good. So I'm gonna probably start doing more of that. So when I do a short, I'll link other people into it, because there's a chance that they might see it and watch it. Hi Raphael, nice to meet you. How you doing? Hope you're well tonight. Yeah, I'm just saying about like other creators. I might look at, say, other fitness creators, link them into my shorts. You could probably link quite a few in, and chances are some of them will see it, and they might even share it out and stuff like that. And yeah, oh yeah, Heinz means beans. Remember those adverts? Maltese handshake. What do you mean? Anyway, so hope you're all well tonight, people. Yeah, but I've just unlocked the it's a type of pull-up called the commando pull-up. It's a bit harder than a regular pull-up. It requires more stability from, I think it's the obliques. So it could be a good way to train the obliques, because you're kind of, it creates some like imbalance with like, because you're holding, you're kind of doing this sort of thing. I'm wondering if that's also what might have caused that as well, doing all these. But I noticed that type of pull-up, that it actually train my chest. So I'm wondering if it's a good way to train the chest as well. I don't know if it's probably not going to be as direct of as say doing like a pressing exercise, but I noticed that when I was doing, because I'm in that kind of really like narrow grip position, I'm getting a lot of like squeeze on the chest like that. I'm getting that kind of activation on the chest. So I think that might be working the chest somewhat, and maybe working it in a bit of a different way than I would normally work it. That maybe it'll work that like inner chest a bit more, because I'm kind of holding the bar like this, and I'm kind of, and then you have to switch. They say to switch over to kind of balance it out, but British. What do you mean British don't exist? What are you talking about? I mean, thing is that even most British people, their heritage, probably some of it comes from other countries. Even if you think you're British, you probably have some, German, or you might have some, even far away, like exotic countries. You could have some of that, like Africa, or Asia, or other continents. What are you saying, Patrick? Are your ancestors English, or are you native Brit? Because England is not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, as far as I'm aware. But anyway, but I'll probably have some like other influences at some point. There's probably some Scandinavian, probably some German. There's probably some Mediterranean, all sorts of influences. Eastern European, Asian, etc. African. You know what I mean? Who knows what we've got in us? Like when people look at their ancestry, but some people were saying though that there's that whole 23andMe and all that kind of shit. Some people are saying it's a con or something. I don't know. I haven't looked too much into it, but some people are saying that it's not to be trusted or something. But I think might be that it's like a data harvesting thing. Some people are saying they're using it to harvest people's data. Anyway. Recovery is working better after 2 weeks. Last osteopath. Oh, that's good then. Yeah, I'm still awake. I'll be awake for a while. Right, I'm going to restart the live. I'll be back in a bit.